We have some other educators I know that are watching the show, and I'm very passionate about getting this into all of the schools. I feel very fortunate that at Weaver, all of the teachers are trained, and we're using this throughout all of our programs, starting at preschool level. Um, how do teachers get trained in this who already have their degrees? How can Walsh help them out with that?
Well, if all of our reading classes, both undergraduate and graduate, are aligned with the science of reading. We actually redesigned our graduate master's class level classes to be aligned with letters instructions, so that we know that they're sequentially it's going to go through, and because we offer credit for people who go through letters training. But within the districts, if they were, I'll just use Canton area, for example. If they take a job in one of the Canton schools, or they're working there now, there's professional development going on. Debbie Hartwig, who works for State Sport Team 9 and is a proud Walsh University graduate, she is a certified regional literacy specialist, and she then works with people to help them understand these techniques. We also know that through time, it'll become a mentorship piece. So that if I came to work with Julie in your building, for example, and she was mentoring me, she may be able to teach me the techniques and show me what I have to do, and I can get modeling done that way if I don't have the background. But we do think under Ohio's plan to raise literacy achievement that we can expect to have this is a snowball effect. 2 years ago when Walsh got started, there were 4 schools that got involved with the grant. Today we're working with 157 different people. We're now trying to expand it because there's more interest. And the big fear is, where do we get the money statewide to continue to expand training and find enough trainers?
Right.
So the pushback is coming from some universities that don't want to go back, and they say that they have a lot of money invested in what they've always done, and they're claiming we do these science things. But I taught reading for 17 years as a principal and a superintendent. I emphasized strong content-based reading programs for the middle schools that I worked with, but I never had a course in phonics.
Yeah, I think that, I never did either. It's funny, when we had talked about that before, I took classes on literature and children's literature, but never a course on phonics and how to teach reading. I taught adult education courses for 8 years, and I had students in my class that never learned how to read. And that was a long time ago. They actually graduated and had their high school diploma. And I said, how'd you get that? Well, there were tricks. They were passed through the system because they weren't behavior problems. So they were just passed through the system. And they had jobs, and I said, well, how have you done this? And they learned how to function. They learned the tricks. So, that's even another area. How do we help these adults that have been passed through the system?
Well, and there are things that can be done now. We know that you can teach these techniques at any age. Yes. As a matter of fact, the prison population is filled with non-functional readers.
Yeah.
A pipeline to prison is the inability to read, because we know that kids will cover up, and if you can't read something and you're embarrassed, get in trouble and get kicked out of class.
Sure.
So we don't want those things to happen. We want, and it's an equalizer. We do see that a lot of times parents get blamed. A single mother gets blamed if the child can't read. A poor parent gets blamed and feel, well, it's because the parents. It's not. We learn to read in school.
Right.
And good teachers teach children how to read. So we want to emphasize that those are the key pieces. And the interest, Susie, we did the Read-a-Palooza last July. And if you're unfamiliar, if somebody's watching this, you're unfamiliar, Walsh University Literacy Initiative is a YouTube channel. We're now approaching 30,000 views of the videos that we recorded from that. They're all about the science of reading. And that's because people want to be able to advocate for their children. We're excited about House Bill 436, which is going to require screening for 100% of all children early on. I'm a former superintendent of schools, and early identification is a cost saver to taxpayers because it's easier to get it early than trying to fix it later. It's more costly when you have to bring specialists in to help.